my name is Hunter Conrad, and I am BMUN 64's head chair of the World Health Organization, and my vice chairs this year will be Tiffany, Nick, and Stacy. And the topics we are debating this year are first, drugs, public health or crime issue, as well as the double burden of disease. So I'm originally from Southern California, and my high school didn't actually have BMUN, so I started it when I was in college. Here at Berkeley, I'm a senior, and I'm studying public health and political theory, specifically focusing on the ethics of toxic exposure and environmental justice in regards to public health. I'm also really involved with international relations. I spent several years of my life living in Latin America. I've lived in Argentina and Chile, and I've also lived in Mexico for part of time. So if anyone's interested in learning Spanish or living in South or Central America, let me know. I chose the first topic, drugs, as a criminal or health issue because I think a lot of times, especially in American society, drugs are looked at in a very narrow sense, and the ideas of rehabilitation and why do we criminalize drugs aren't really looked at in enough detail. And this is something we still see, even though it's been a problem since the early 20th century. So I thought it'd be interesting, especially for kids who are still in high school, to start to conceptualize and think about drugs as a public health issue, especially on an international realm. So that I wanted to give a topic that had a good debate to it, something where there's obviously opposite sides, something that is a little more cutting edge. It's something that I really hope that all of my delegates can really rise up to. My other topic this year is the double burden of disease, which I chose because I think it's something that's coming to fruition right now. And it's the idea that developing countries are both faced with chronic diseases, which are more apparent in developed countries, such as obesity and different cardiovascular diseases, as well as diseases that are associated with development, such as malaria, and foodborne illnesses. And when they have to deal with both of these in one thing, it's a really hard situation. And I think it's also something you can have very divergent views on, which can lead to good debate. But we're also seeing a huge problem with it right now currently. One of the reasons I chose it is because in refugee crises, it's actually a really big deal that in refugee camps or when refugees are coming to cities, they not only have their traditional illnesses, but they'll also have chronic heart disease, which is a whole nother thing to treat, and it requires a whole different set of skills. So I think it's something that globally right now is really pertinent. As far as you guys' research goes, I would recommend really making sure you have legitimate sources. First of all, I'd start with WHO reports, especially for the double burden of disease, and past conferences on drugs from WHO or from the UN. Because especially with topics that are a little more controversial, such as the drugs one, it's really easy to find opinion pieces that have facts that might not be real, that are disputable, or that are just pure opinion and don't have sustenance. So I'd recommend, first of all, to look on the WHO and UN page, go from there. And then also, I know you probably don't hear this, but I'd go to the Wikipedia page and then click on the original articles in the reference section, because those are actually pretty good. But I'd only do that once you really feel like you can't find any more other legitimate sources, but it is a good resource for you guys. And I wish you the best of luck in writing your position papers, and I'm super excited to have you.